Hi, my name is Zyta and today I'm going to talk to you about tarantulas. So this tarantula here is a little girl and her name is Emily. She's actually what we call a curly hair tarantula, so there are lots and lots of different types, and that's what this type's called, a curly hair. She comes from South America in the wild and she likes to live on the ground. She's not very good at climbing in trees, she prefers to be lower to the ground, and sometimes you find them in burrows, so in little holes as well. Her favourite thing to eat is insects, so she's a carnivore. Some of you might have learned that word in school. That just means she eats other animals, and her favourite thing to eat is different insects, so crickets, locusts, maybe little cockroaches, all that sort of thing. And she's a hunter, so she doesn't just wait for her food to be caught in a web like a spider in your house. She actually finds her food and she chases it, so she runs after it. She doesn't run a long way though, she does wait till it's near her. She waits for her food to come to her and then she grabs it. She has 8 legs, so all tarantulas have 8 legs. You see 4 down this side and 4 down this side. There are 2 little bits at the front that people sometimes think mean they've got 10 legs. You see those 2 little bits just there? They're actually called pedipalps and they're just for feeling. So they don't walk on them, they don't really hold their weight, they're for feeling their way around a bit more. So she actually does have 8 very, very small eyes on top of her head as well. Just that little dark bit near the front. But they're not actually very good at seeing. A lot of tarantulas don't have that good sight. She can tell if it's light or dark, but she can't see pictures very well. So what she uses instead, you see she's got lots and lots of hairs all over her body. She's very hairy. They're actually very sensitive, so she can feel her way around with her hairs. That's what she uses instead. Her hairs have another use as well. If she's feeling really scared, so a big animal comes along, she can flick those hairs off her bottom, it's called her abdomen, this bit here, and they don't feel very nice going into the other animal's skin. They feel a bit itchy, so that other animal thinks maybe I should leave this animal alone. So she's not dangerous at all. Lots of people think spiders are very scary, but that's not the case. We're much more of a danger to her than she is to us. So, when tarantulas grow, they actually have to shed their skin off all in one piece. So this isn't another spider, this is actually Emily's old skin that I have here. And it comes off all in one nice big piece, takes them quite a few hours to get it all off, and then they look quite a bit bigger underneath. So she doesn't actually breathe through her mouth like you and I do. She breathes through very, very tiny holes in her body. We can't actually see them with our eyes, but they're called spiracles, and that's what she breathes through. Air passes through those straight into her lungs, so she doesn't use her mouth for breathing at all. Now, she's a girl, like I said, which means we can expect her to live about 15 years, so she'll live quite a long time. Some of them can live longer than that. And the boys only tend to live about 5 years. If you're a tarantula, you're a boy, you don't live as long as the girls, unfortunately. So the reason the boys don't live as long as the girls is because when they have babies, the girls actually eat the boys, so she has lots of energy to make lots and lots of eggs. She can make hundreds of eggs at a time. So tarantulas are venomous, so they have to bite their prey and inject it to kill it. But you don't need to worry, they're not dangerous to people at all. I wouldn't be holding her if she was dangerous. And actually they tend to be quite friendly. They don't tend to bite people much at all. They only bite their prey, which I'm much too big to be her dinner.
Useful signs. Zoo. Your turn. Zoo. Carnivore. Your turn. Carnivore. Scared. You try. Scared.
Culture.
Hello and welcome to Prehistoric News. I'm Seren and these are our headlines today. Mega dragonfly spotted in the parks. Cockroaches that will spin your head right round. And woman finds a millipede bigger than her in her garden. All that today in Prehistoric News. Mega dragonfly spotted in the parks. The dragonflies are known as Meganeuropsis permiana, and they are the largest bug in prehistory. One of the witnesses said the dragonfly had a wingspan of about 30 inches. So let's head over to Charlotte, who is on the ground, to see what the buzz is all about.
Hi, we're not seeing much around here, but I'm keeping my eye out for dragonflies. We'll just have to keep searching for them, but there's not much happening at the moment.
Can you tell us more?
I'm seeing movement. We need to get closer. Come on. I don't know what to tell you. It's massive, and it's a dragonfly, and it's bigger than my head, and it's definitely coming closer, and I don't...
Okay, thanks for that, Charlotte. I hope I don't see any in my garden anytime soon. Next up we have cockroaches that will spin your head right round. Now these critters have been spotted in lots of gardens locally, and they have a rather unusual ability. Let's hear if one of those families affected. We have Claire on the phone. Hi Claire, can you tell us more about the experience?
I was just going downstairs for a midnight snack and I felt something on my foot. I looked down and there was a cockroach. Naturally I jumped and ran away. I called for my husband. But then I had a proper look at it and its legs were so long and it turned its head around to look at me. Its head turned a full 360 degrees.
Next, Charlotte is going to be interviewing a woman who found a millipede bigger than her in her garden.
So, if you could tell us in your own words what you saw.
Well, I was just tending to my rose bush, and then suddenly, out of nowhere, a giant millipede stormed out of the bushes.
Goodness me, how big was it?
About 9 feet it must have been. It was bigger than me.
Oh goodness, what a story. Back to you in the studio.
Breaking news. This just in. We're seeing something unusual on the riverbanks. Charlotte, can you give us more intel?
I'm just going there now. I'll get back to you when I have the full story.
Okay, we're getting something in from Charlotte at the riverbank. Let's go there now.
I'm here at the river where there have been signs of a Gycolopterus renanii, in other words, a giant lobster. Basically, it should have 4 legs, 2 large pincers, bright red, you can't miss it. Oh God, I see movement in the water. Back to you in the studio.
That's all from us here at Prehistoric News, staying current with ancient history.
Warning!
Dad joke alert!
Why did the fly fly? Because the spider spied her.
Get moving!
Hello everybody! Today in Get Moving we're going to be doing yoga bugs. Yoga's great for staying fit and focused. Just follow me! Make sure you wear something comfortable. You could even wear your pyjamas. The first position is praying mantis. You need to put your hands together in a prayer position and lift your leg up to your knee. If you're struggling to balance, don't worry, focus on a spot in the distance. And if you fall over, don't worry, just try again. The next position is dragonfly. You need to lean forward, lift one leg up and put your arms out to the side to help you balance. The next thing we're going to do is a gentle roll down. You're going to let your head become heavy and slowly pull you down. Bounce your knees a little to make sure your neck and shoulders are loose. Next, walk your hands forwards into spider. gently bring your knees down to the floor. Now we're going to do the beetle. So gently dip your back. And now arch it. Next, push your legs backwards and push your hands down to the floor. Look over each shoulder. This is the centipede. Press back up onto all fours and then push back onto your heels. You can bring your hands into your forehead if it's more comfortable. This is the ladybird. The last move is the fly. You're going to sit down with your legs apart and reach over to one leg. And then over to the other. And back to the centre. Well done, everyone. The first record of meditation is in India in 1500 BC. People use it today to stay calm and happy. Why don't we try some breathing and connect to the natural world around us? Breathe with me. As you breathe, make sure you're breathing deeply into your tummy. Breathe in for 4 and out for 4. You can close your eyes if it will make you more relaxed, or you can watch these pictures from nature. Well done, everyone. Useful signs. Yoga. Your turn. Yoga. Breathe. Your turn. Breathe. Calm. You try. Calm.
Science.
Can they see me? Am I live? Yes. And action! Hello and welcome to Mad Morgan's Science Show. Today we're going to be finding out where the bees live, how to help the bees, and why bees are so buzzing important. I'll be right back. It's time for Mad Morgan's 5 fun fast facts. Number 1, bees produce about a teaspoon of honey in their lifetime. Number 2, all worker bees are girls. Number 3, a bee's favourite colour is blue. They really love lavender. Number 4, don't worry if you get a bee in your bonnet. Bees don't want to sting you, because if they do, they might die. And some bees don't even have a stinger. Number 5, not all bees live in a hive. Some bees live on their own, and not all of them make honey. It's time for the experiment. And this one is the bee's knees. Today, we're going to be making a home for mason bees. Now, mason bees live on their own, not like some other bees that live in hives. Mason bees like to live in little holes, so we're going to help them out. For this, you will need a jar, some tape, some string, pen, quite a lot of paper, and my glasses. Oh no, I don't need these anymore, I've got contact lenses. Oh, cool. It's time to get making. We're going to be busy bees. First thing you need to do is take your piece of paper and a pen and start rolling the pen into the paper. Pop a little bit of tape to hold the paper down and then keep rolling, all the way till you get to the end, and then put another piece of tape there. Tip the roll upside down to get the pen out. You've got your first bee hidey hole. Keep doing this until you've got enough to fill the entire jar. Put one of the rolls into the jar and then measure where it comes up to with a pen. Take it out and cut off that extra you don't need and pop it back in to see that it fits. Once you've done this with all of your rolls, it's time to put them all in the jar. For added fun, go and collect some twigs. You can put them in and that might encourage other insects to join them. Now you need to get your string and tie it round the neck of the jar. Okay, it's time to get our shades on and head outside. So, now we've got our complete bee home, we need to find somewhere for it. It needs to be somewhere a metre off the ground, somewhere quite sunny, and somewhere that it's not going to blow away. Now all there's left to do is wait. But how do we keep ourselves busy? You could learn a new song on the recorder. Like that. You could learn how to juggle. See how many books you can balance on your head. Well, that was fun. But why are bees so important? Well, it's not just because they make really tasty honey. Bees are really important for our ecosystem. They help to pollinate all our crops and flowers. They take pollen from one flower and transfer it to another, and that's how we get lots of new flowers. Sadly, the number of bees is declining. But if we all start making bee houses and planting bee-friendly plants, then hopefully there will be more bees. Well, that's it for this week. Keep on buzzing. Useful signs. Bee. You try. Bee. House. Your turn. House. Make. You try. Make.
Warning!
Dad joke alert!
Hey, what do you call a bee that you can't hear? A mumblebee.
Cooking! Hello and welcome to Super Seren's cooking show. Today we're going to be making some light and airy butterfly cakes. Did you know butterfly wings are transparent and they taste with their feet? Let's get baking. You might need a grown-up to help you with measuring the ingredients and using the oven. To make your cupcakes you will need cupcake cases, a sieve, a big bowl, 175 grams of self-raising flour, 175 grams of caster sugar, 175 grams of butter, 3 eggs, and a teaspoon of baking powder, and a mouldy banana. Ooh, put that in the bin! Okay. Make sure you preheat the oven to 170. The first thing you need to do is get the... Oh, hello Sloth. What are you making? I'm making butterfly cakes. Ooh, butterfly cakes, my favourite. Oh, good. Can I help? Of course you can. Right, so the first thing you have to do is you have to get your flour and put it in a sieve. Okay. Make sure you do this over the bowl. And then get your baking powder and put that in the sieve. And sieve them both into the bowl. That looks pretty.
and that just makes sure your cake isn't lumpy. And next, we put the caster sugar in. And then we put the butter in. Ooh, sticky. And then we crack the eggs in.
Oh, can I do this bit?
Oh, of course you can. Right, hold your hands out.
Okay.
Have you got it?
I've got it.
Are you sure you've got it?
I'm sure I've got
You
it.
promise that you have it?
I promise.
Okay.
Oh, I don't got it. Oh, I'm
That's
sorry.
got it everywhere.
I'm sorry.
It's alright, Sloth. I know you tried your hardest.
Oh,
Maybe I should do the cracking of the eggs.
maybe you should.
Right, here it goes. And then you mix it all together.
Oh, can I mix it?
Yes, yeah, okay. I don't see why not.
Oh.
Yes, that's very well mixed, Sloth. Why don't you go and see if you can find any butterflies in the garden?
Butterflies? I love butterflies.
Right, now that Sloth's gone, it's going to take a little while to mix all the way in with a wooden spoon. If you have an adult handy and an electric whisk, you can do that and it'll be much quicker. Now that we've got our cupcake mixture, you need to get your cupcake cases and use them to line a cupcake tin, like this. Now, with 2 teaspoons, we're going to put the mixture into the cases. You need to fill them up about halfway. So you get 1 spoon like this, and you put it in, using the other teaspoon to scrape the mixture in. Perfect. When all your cupcake cases are filled, it's time to put them in the oven.
Oh, can I put it in the oven?
I'm afraid not, Sloth. An adult has to put them in the oven.
Oh, never mind.
They'll take about 20 minutes to cook, but they might take less time than that, so keep a close eye on them. So while the cakes are baking, we need to make the buttercream. For this, you'll need...
Sorry.
You'll need 70 grams of butter and 140 grams of icing sugar. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
You need to put these into another big bowl and just mix them together. Now they might look like they're not going to mix together at first, but keep going and I promise they will. So now we have our cooled cupcakes and our buttercream, it's time to put the wings on the butterfly. So you take a cake and very carefully unpeel the wrapping. And then you're going to cut the very top layer off. So now your cake's in half, but that's okay. Take the top layer and cut that directly down the middle. So now you have 2 halves. These are going to be the wings of the butterfly. Now get your buttercream, get a knife and spread a little bit over the surface of your cupcake. Now we need to put the 2 wings on the cake. So you have to put them in at an angle, like this. For the final touches, place your butterfly cake back into a cupcake case. And there you have it.
Ooh, that looks delicious. Can I have one?
Of course you can.
Useful signs. Butterfly. You try. Butterfly. Cake. Your turn. Cake. Mix. You try. Mix. Story time!
Hello everyone. It's time to wind down our show today with another mini-myth with Charlie. This one originates with the Ashanti tribe of West Africa, but it's spread all over the world. And it's called
Why Anansi
owns all the stories. The sky god Niame was holder of all stories. He wouldn't share with anyone, which made Anansi mad. He offered to buy them, was willing to pay any price. So Niame gave Anansi some impossible tasks. You'll have to catch Anini, the massive scary python, and then I want the hornets that come from Marlborough. Afterwards you'll need the leopard called Osebo, and Mwatia the fairy should be the last to go. These requests were crazy, no one could ever do that, but Anansi wasn't scared, he puffed his chest up big. That's not a challenge, I could catch them all now, I'll even bring my mother as payment for the tails. And so Anansi set off to ask his wife for advice. Niame didn't think he'd even manage one. Anansi's wife Aso was terribly clever, and so she helped Anansi to complete every task. First he gathered vines up and waited by the river, arguing with Aso about the python's size. Anini slithered over to see the cause of the fuss, and Anansi asked the python how big he really was. You see, my darling wife here thinks that you were longer than this branch we found on our journey here. I'm not so sure. Would you mind comparing? And Anini lay down beside the branch to see. Quickly they tied him up to the branch with their vines, then carried him up towards Niame's home. Niame was unsure that Anansi would catch more, and sent him out to find the next of his tasks. Anansi asked Aso what he should do to catch them. She gave him a gourd filled up with cold water. He sprinkled some water over the hornet's nest, and poured all the rest all over himself. The hornets came home to see their soggy nest next to Anansi, who was sopping wet. He warned them that there had been some awful rain, and said that they could hide from it inside of his gourd. The hornets all thanked him for offering such respite. They all flew inside to hide from bad weather. Anansi closed up the gourd and carried them to Niame, who accepted the gift and sent him on his way. The next one was Osebo, who Anansi knew, so he dug a trap outside his house and covered it with leaves. He came back the next day to find Osebo in there. The leopard was trapped and asked his friend for help. Anansi teased his friend for falling down the hole, and offered to reach down to help him climb up out. When Osebo looked up to catch hold of Anansi, the spider knocked him out and carried him away. Niame wasn't worried that Anansi had done so well. He didn't think that he would really carry on, because this was a crazy price to own all of the stories. But Anansi had a mission, and so he carried on. Moatia the fairy was last of all these captures, and Anansi asked his wife for advice again. She gave him a little doll that he could use as bait, as well as some yummy mashed yam on a plate. Anansi covered the doll in sticky tar, and set the plate in front of it as if the doll would eat. When the fairy saw it, Moatia asked for some yam, and Anansi made the doll nod to share its lovely treat. Moatia thanked the doll and expected a reaction, but Anansi didn't move it and made the fairy mad. She slapped the doll right in the face and caught her hand in tar, so Anansi caught Moatia and carried her away. At last he sought his mother and asked her very nicely if she would see Niame and help Anansi win.
Yanisia, his mother, was happy to oblige him, and he brought her to the Sky Palace where Niame lived. Niame was so impressed with all Anansi managed, he called all his generals and princes there to see. Anansi was gifted with every single story, and the spider decided to share with you and me. The end.
Useful signs. Spider. You try. Spider. God. Your turn. God. Story. You try. Story.